Hello and welcome to this week's WCS Coaches Preview Show. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls, and I have a panel of experts with me today. My co-host, Tate Mathews, and the Blade Runner himself, Coach Scott Blade. Independence High School, 20 straight wins, undefeated, 5-0, 2-0 in region play. Big game tonight against Stewarts Creek. A lot of people, including the expert beside you, probably think this Stewarts Creek team coming in here is 4-2, 3-0 in region play. Could be a hurdle for you. I think it's nothing but a marker as we sprint past them. But you have to play the game tonight. That's the way it works. And anytime you have 16, 17, 18-year-olds, you know that anything can go.
That's right. They're the next most important game on the schedule because they're the one we play tonight. And they got plenty of athletes over there that they got some open space. They can make it interesting real quick. And we're excited after the 2-week layoff to get back on the field and get the second half of the season going.
Speaking of the off week, came at a good time, had the border battle, had some, maybe some kids get dinged up during that time frame. You get you a week off, get you some rest, good practice thus far going into tonight's game?
Yeah, we're excited. The bye week was a good week for us, a good week to kind of get everybody rested up. We kind of cut things back for the coaches and the players. Gave them Friday off completely, started things back up at the beginning of the week. Felt like our kids are as close as they can be to 100%. We're actually going into the last half of the season here with no injuries of record. This will be the first time the whole year, dating back to the scrimmages where we had 4 or 5 starters out. So we finally feel like we're 100% healthy. Feel like the kids have prepared and rested up. And like I said, we're excited to get the second half going.
Before we get into tonight's game, let's talk about some of the guys from last year, dating back. The win streak is at 20 currently right now. Andrew Bunch, phenomenal quarterback, broken all the records there is. We mentioned the kid from Smyrna. And how do these, we can look at this 100 different ways of how he got overlooked by all these people. I still think the best is yet to come for him. He is at Scottsdale Community College, the Fighting Artichokes.
Yeah.
And can you give us a little bit of update about his progress right now at that school?
Yeah, Andrew's doing well. He's getting adjusted to life out in Arizona, and he's the starting quarterback out there. Team not winning as much as he'd like, but he's definitely doing a good job out there in Arizona. And we hope that he continues to lead them and get the chance he's hoping for to play at the next level come the end of the year.
How often do JUCO players get picked up? I mean, a lot of these times these guys are Prop 48 going in, they didn't qualify, so you got extreme D1 talent on these teams.
Yeah.
Andrew didn't fall in that category. He's going a different route. He's going a JUCO route to try to get there. How difficult is it if you've got a setting per se, let's just say for hypothetical purposes, that they don't have the best offensive line, they don't have the best things, he may struggle just because of the perspective of that. Does that hurt his chances?
It depends. I coached at the junior college level for 4 years, and out in California, it's really big. There are 70 schools roughly that play junior college football in California, many of them in Southern California, and then there's like 70 the whole rest of the country. So while there's not a lot of Division I AA programs in California, a lot of those type of players are at those junior colleges. I myself is a junior college prospect and had some smaller offers and chose to, venture out and do kind of what Andrew's doing. But for me, for my position, there was some requirements, a little bit light coming out of high school, a little bit smaller. So there were some different scenarios set up for me in order to get to the next level. But a lot of those are signing 9 to 10 to 12 kids a year. And even the College of the Canyons, when I've called them in the past, that's what I coached there in '98, a real good program out in Southern California. And they're really looking for guys to come in 1 year, and it's just a 1-year turnaround instead of a 2-year turnaround. Andrew out at Scottsdale, it's the same type of thing. He's trying to get out in January, and so he's just trying to get as much good film as he can. And the thing is, all the guys that recruited him or had watched him, they all know where he went. We're hoping he can get some more eyes from the West Coast type of things to help him out. But yeah, there's a big, usually at those junior colleges, everybody's there for a different reason. Either you're undersized or you're under-recruited or you're Prop 48, didn't make the grades, whatever. But a lot of them, there's eight to a dozen that'll end up going each year.
Well, his number one target last year, Nate Johnson, as we all know, highly touted recruit from last year's team. University of Michigan, right now they're sitting at number 4 in the country. That roster they don't have a hard time filling that roster, that's for sure. So where are we right now with Nate Johnson at Michigan?
Yeah, Nate's got some playing time this year, and I know he's working hard. He's working hard to learn the playbook. He's working hard to learn the new system. That's a system, that's an offensive system that Coach Harbaugh uses sometimes 3 tight ends. What maybe used to seeing 4 wideouts on the field or wide receivers, they use some different personnel packages. And I know he's on the depth chart at the wideout, and he's also at a depth chart on the slot receiver as well. So I think there's a lot of big things to come. Nate's such a competitor. He'll find a way to have success, but it is hard. It's hard coming from you're the big fish in a small pond, going to a big old ocean. As far as the talent and what's expected, and it's hard for those freshmen to come in and get a lot of playing time early. That's at any position, but I know he's doing well, and he'll continue to get better, and we'll continue to look up on Saturdays and watch him playing more and more. We hope so.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing either. I think the media and the internet's really kind of put more of an emphasis on playing early. But a great example of it is Van Jefferson.
Right.
As Coach said, it's tough to play as a freshman in any position, really at wide receiver. Look at the difference in 1 year in Van Jefferson. So if Nate redshirts or doesn't play a whole lot, that's not a bad thing at all. Get in there, know the system, get stronger in the weight room, and he's still going to have 3-4 years to play. So
could that be a testament too at the same side, who you get to see twice last year, Tyrell Dotson's contribution at the Texas A&M level as linebacker in that rotation to what he's done, and I guess his physique is a little different too. He's a bigger guy, stronger guy playing that position, but I guess that's kind of a testament to his performance.
And I think that's key, because even like us, if we're playing sophomores, and we do play 4 or 5 sophomores this year, their bodies just aren't as developed as the seniors. Well, it's the same thing if you look at the freshmen in college. Their bodies just aren't the same developed as guys that have been in the weight room at that college level for the last 2 or 3 years and 4 years. So, I mean, there is a big hurdle or learning curve at that level. Like I said, he's a competitor. Nate's a major competitor, and he's he wants to be on the field. I think every time I look up and I see he's right behind Harbaugh, he wants to get in the field. He's gotten some reps, and I think that work ethic and that attitude is going to help him get on the field more this year and be a great contributor in the future.
All right, let's get on to tonight's action. 20 wins in a row. You've outscored your opponents 157-69 on the year. That's you're still averaging 31 points a game. It's a different look for Independence. You haven't had a chance to see them play yet. And am I being presumptuous to saying the defense side is a heavier contributor this year than the offense was last year? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we've had 4 defensive touchdowns so far this year in the first 4, where we have either picked it off or recovered a fumble, and the defense has scored. And if we were talking last year, if you had asked me in January and February, I said, yeah, we're going to be different. We're going to replace a whole lot of experienced players on the offensive side. But if we're winning 28-14, 35-21, I mean, that could be how this thing shakes out. We know that our defense is the strength of the team. A lot of good leaders over there, experienced leaders and playmakers, and they've done that this far. But we also know that our offense is, just a couple of, feet here or inches here from lighting it up. And that's what's exciting, because we're still, I said this back in January, we're going to be a work in progress. And now that's why the excitement after the bye week and let things settle down. We had 4 out of those first 5 games were good, tough contests. Going against good, well-coached teams. So we're excited to see what the second half has to unfold for the offense, because once that thing gets, a little bit more consistent and fluid, now we're right back, where we were with an improved defense on last year. So there's a whole lot of optimism. We've been fortunate and won some games, But we still think there's a big ceiling for this team, and we're not there yet, and that's what's exciting for us.
I will say this, Tate and I have discussed this. We've heard, it's not the same Independence team. They're not beating. Well, it really is the same. It's the same group. It's just the fact that the defense is playing better, more seasons, and the offense is like you said. We'll see here in just a minute the Smyrna game. That could have been a running clock game.
You bet. You bet.
I mean, and we're talking about a top, according to the media, top 6. I think they're number 6 right now,
Yeah.
and you're number 5. I've yet to figure that out. I know you don't pay any attention to that, but it burns me up at the fact that you got number 20 in a row, fixing to get 21, but we can't climb the rankings. But none of that matters. But you're literally exactly right. You are a play here, a connection here of really getting back to that high-scoring offense that you had last year.
Both of our last 2 games, there was 3 or 4 times that we did not connect or made an unforced error, which is something, a team that's maybe doesn't have all the maturity or the experience in it just yet makes. Those are things that we know we can correct, and we know we can get better, and we've worked hard, and we're continuing to work hard. And then, and that's the goal. At the end of the year, we're trying to get our team to as close to their ceiling, whatever it is. And I think we're on the right track there. Time will tell if we can reach that, but we definitely like the way the kids are working, the way the kids are, and our coaches, their attitudes. We know we're a long way from where we want to be, but we're working hard every day to get a little bit closer.
Well, yeah, and one thing about the defense also is the defense isn't playing quite as many snaps this year. They were scoring so quickly last year.
Well, I'll tell you, no. Let me
more?
back that up, because the 2 games, the last 2 games, we felt like our defense, played more snaps because of some offense unforced errors. Turnovers, which if you look at the point total, we've given up points, and in that first couple of games, well. When we're not hitting things on offense, the reason we were successful, we would score at will last year. And so now it takes teams that maybe they're a running dominated team. That would make offensive linemen are used to run blocking. But when we're turning it over or not, or having to punt or not scoring as we usually do, it lets the opposing offense stay in a comfort zone and do what they want.
Exactly.
Whereas when we're scoring, it gets teams that don't necessarily want to throw or can throw or have that in their bag of tricks. They're doing things they don't want to do, which forces turnovers, which forces interceptions. So I think,
Makes sense.
I think like if you're a running team and all of a sudden, we're up in the first quarter, it's 21-0. Well, heck, if you want to keep this close, you better try and keep up, on the scoreboard. It'll get ugly real quick, which happened last year a lot. This year, because of some inconsistency, our defense has been put on the field, especially Smyrna, a whole lot more than we want. And that's that. There you give up yards. But again, their effort and their intensity is right, and that's where you get the turnovers. So we'd like to balance that out a little better, to be honest with you, with the offense doing their part a little bit, and I think they will.
And that's a great point. And there's a play that sticks out in my mind in the Smyrna game. I believe it's about your second possession. You scored on your first possession in an opening drive. You came back second possession. I believe you had one of your receivers, maybe Sheffield, or I think it may have been Scurry, wide open, and it was overthrown.
Yeah.
It resulted in a punt. That was 7 points left on the field. Hines comes back the next drive and throws one of the prettiest passes you've seen in a very tight window to score that touchdown. That's the things that you're talking about. Those small clicks. If you make now, all of a sudden you're up 21-7.
That's right.
Versus 14-7, forcing them out of their comfort zone to do some plays and try to catch up.
Right, and that is to me, after reflecting on all of last year, obviously we had a ton of experience in the skilled positions offensively. You had and it allowed us. We scored more, which again, and we did it all year. It put pressure on the opposing team, and I can't tell you how many times we saw a different type of offense than what we had scouted. Based on, okay, well, we know we can't stop them. I mean, it was almost like that. That sounds maybe that sounds arrogant or whatever, but it was almost we know we can't stop them, but we got to try and keep up with them scoring points. Well, flip the script now, and people are challenging us defensively. And again, we're just a hair away from really making them pay for what we're seeing defensively, because we're not maybe connecting on everything. But I think, again, I feel like we're going in the right direction, and we're just a little bit off. And once we get that corrected, it's going to be a fun offense to watch.
Right before we get into you guys breaking down the film, let's beat Brentwood week 1, 21-20. That's a great win for your guys because there was some adversity there that you had to overcome. Well-coached team, Ron Crawford and Brentwood, 21-20. Centennial, another big quality win. At that point in time, you probably didn't think it was that much of a quality win until you look at it now. 31-21. Lincoln County, 49-7. Smyrna, arguably the second best win of the year, 21-7, which it could have been worse. Summit, 35-14. It leads you into tonight's game against Stewarts Creek. Stewarts Creek right now, we mentioned, they're sitting at 4-2, 3-0 in the region. They're 3 wins. Their opponents have got a combined total of wins of 4. Now, you look at that, you look at their record, everybody's thinking they're pretty good, they're better this year, and they probably are, but then you really break down and look at the opponents right now, and they haven't really faced a quality opponent yet.
And I'll just say, every time I do an interview or something, that I never put the focus on the other team. I just don't believe in that. Those are all things I can't control. Who they're playing, what style of football that team played, how well they did against them. We just try and come up. What are they doing, offensively and defensively, and worry about again what we can control. All we can control is our effort and our preparation, and confidence comes from the preparation that we've made. We've continued to do that. That'll be our battle cry. What I'm most pleased about our kids is, again, every interview I talk, we've won 20 in a row. These kids, they know that. Everybody, obviously they know that, but they're just focused on the next game. And I love that
they
about
want number
this.
30.
They want number 21. They want number 21. Is 30 in the back? Heck yeah, 30 is in the back of the mind. But that's what I'm saying. They talk about, at least around me, it's all about the next one. But of course,
they're regurgitating what their fearless leader says.
That's what we want.
That's right.
And
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, so I like the fact that the kids, we've practiced pretty well most of the year. We're making strides, and they're just concerned. Stewarts Creek and us getting a little bit better, and as long as they keep that attitude, it could be a fun year.
Well, and I'll say this, I know he'd agree. They have not played the schedule that Independence has, and they had 2 really bad losses at the beginning. But they are better. They've gotten better as the season's gone on. Now, what you look at the scores and you can tell they better fix it by tonight. Against good offenses, they do give up points, but they are better than they were week 1 and 2, don't you think?
For sure. And that's a time, if the preparation hasn't been, up to speed, or the heat and the heat index can change away some preparation those first 2 weeks. And but you get better. We've gotten better. They've gotten better. We're healthy and we're excited.
So, my panel of experts, let's break down this film and let's look at some of the clips you have here from
Okay,
Smyrna.
this is so I just wrote down several plays that were kind of a snapshot of this game. This is Smyrna now. This is their first drive, and that's important to know because they drove it on us with all sorts of ease. They drove us right down here to inside the 5 here. We're running a goal line. It's their 3rd down inside the 5 here, and we come off, make a huge play. And what I like to highlight here is just this is what we do. We're not very big. Smyrna's bigger, faster, stronger than us. But if you see on the tackle, Landon fights off a block here, keeps outside contained. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 8 people in the box, and you can see a little cheap action at the end.
32 got held, knocked down, and still
held,
got
throat.
This to me right here was a game changer. This particular play.
Right. So they got a penalty on that one, and they missed a field goal. So if we were to, kind of give you a snapshot, the next series on offense was not good. So the first series we kicked off to them, They went down 80 yards on us, got down to the 1 yard line. We stop them, hold them to a field goal attempt. Now make a few changes, and this is kind of nice here. First down of the second series, and they're running a buck sweep, and I like this because this is not natural for a corner. Here's Allen Watson coming down hard. Big play they run, 2 Poland big old linemen and a terrific running back, and he's there to blow this thing up, turn it inside, and again, you're going to see 3, 4, 5 guys on the tackle. We did this, again, second series. We're talking about quarterback makes an outlet throw, incredible athlete, but you see there's Javon Henderson, there's Colby Logan, and so this is really the difference in what we did the first series versus what we did the second series. We're flying around a little better. We're doing what we do best. If you were to...
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Go back to that. This is the second time they've run this, and both times you've got it heavy to the strong side, away from the doubles. Look at that.
Well, this is our...
Did you know they're going that way both times?
No, this is our natural. This is where we line up. We line up in a zero technique. We line up in a head up on the tackle, and when there's a tight end, we're head up on the tight end. So our outside backers, outside shade, we're balanced
right.
across the board. But this is our normal front against anybody.
But if they were to come backside, the
We're
linebackers
still
are the
okay
ones that gotta make their fits.
we're still okay because he's slanting here.
Right.
You know, we might line up there both. I mean, that's our defense in a nutshell. So we line up in an odd front. It looks like an odd front, but we're moving on the snap of the ball, and that puts us in an even front. Okay, so if you look at, play 20 here, this is kind of the change. So we stopped them on the goal line. We went 3 and out on offense. We stop them on the, after punting, they get 3 and out. And then here we get the Landon Guidry, who's played lights out. Big turn of events there. A block punt inside the red zone. Just a great job by him, and I believe that's Cole over there to recover that fumble. And as we take a couple of downs here, they're really making it stiff on us. Now we put Guidry at quarterback, okay, and run everybody call it Wildcat or whatever. Now he's at quarterback. He's going to run the ball here. And
is that a given?
Yeah.
Every single time.
There's
no trick in it. No trick in it.
There ain't no trickeration there.
All right.
Yeah. So this is
Just
just our tackle trap with a lead, and offensive line is playing their tails off, getting after the people. Landon finds the hole, sneaks in untouched.
Good block by Troy Henderson.
And
And
Troy Henderson.
I'm glad you said that, because I was literally at practice the day before this, and we were talking.
Yeah.
And we had to stop practice because I believe Troy kept hitting the wrong hole.
That's right. So here he is blocking. He's the backside blocker on this, and does a great job of getting the inside guy. If he blocks this guy will come down and the play's dead. So he does a great job there of sealing that inside for us. Let me fast forward to a few other. That was a turning play. Okay, here we are on offense.
I love this one.
So this is what we can do and what people are used to seeing. There's Nate Johnson's younger brother, TJ Sheffield. We're using Landon as a little bit of a bait. Okay, we're going to do a stop route, so he's going to come here. We're going to do a stop route with him, and we're going to send him on a post. Whoop, that's a little bit ugly, but we're sending him across the middle. Well, this guy was reading what's happening in here. Okay, so it's kind of nice just to get this, and quarterback reads it perfectly. Safety squats, and we put it over his head.
Good route by Sheffield as
Great
well.
job with his eyes.
Get inside.
Yeah. So we'll get a few more here. Here we are again defensively. The defense has been the highlight here, and you see body on body. This is what Smyrna wants to do. Is they want to muscle you around, push you around. We're in our gaps, body on body. A lot of guys tackling him.
You see 43. That's Hunter Dupree.
That's
right?
Hunter Dupree.
I mean, you see
yeah.
him all the time hawking the ball.
Yeah. And here we are at. This is
again.
Landon Guidry again.
And force the quick out right here.
Yep, we forced the quick out. He still tries to force it on number 2 going vertical. Landon Guidry makes an incredible play. That's why he's going to Mississippi State. But he goes up at its highest point.
Not a whole lot of high school kids can do it the way
that.
he just did it.
I mean, look how high he is. That's an incredible, incredible effort. from an incredible player. So
Number 3 thinks, I'm getting ready. Just don't drop this thing.
I'm going in the end. Yeah. So, we had a number of turnovers in this. They turned it over a ton. Here's a great punt by Jake Brickle, and guys just flying around. And boom, knocked the ball out there. So that's one of the 7 turnovers.
So one of the things as you're showing here, it's like blood in the water for you guys. Once that happens, once that first drop hits, that's what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, and here's again, they drove and they ended up scoring on this drive, but it kind of sent a message that we're still coming. This is the end of the first half. There's Landon Guidry. We've said his name a lot because he's been playing like a stud. He's going to come off the edge here or inside here, and boom. An incredible tackle, incredible turn of events there for us. And that was the kind of, what we got out. Here's Landon on offense. So right now when you lack experience, you lack some maturity there, it's nice to have a player of his caliber to really kind of liven things up and give us a boost that we need to. Okay, I know we're wrapping up here. This is a big play. Montre Steele, it's his first game back.
That's right.
Okay, and this is one of the plays of defense. So he whiffs on the tackle. He's around.
Watch him hit this gear right here, though.
And then you're not going to catch him. And he's not at full speed right there. He's still, getting into game shape, but he's got him. So it was like an 80-yard run back there. So another example of how the defense is playing. Here's a good one here. Now we're getting them for tackles for losses. And again, that's kind of been our battle cry here.
At this point in time in the game, y'all hit them so hard and so many times. It's to the point now that they don't want to get hit anymore.
Yeah, there's another turnover. You're right. There's an example. We got this guy. He's got a dancing around a little bit, but we got 8 guys around him taking swipes at the ball. Michael Pierce picks it up. But speaking of Michael Pierce, I got to show this one as we're wrapping up here. This was great. Anytime a D lineman can do this stuff, we absolutely love. They had moved the ball a little bit into that third quarter. Ball's bouncing around. Again, because they're hustling around the ball, because they're doing some great stuff. And he knows he's going to get hawked down. I love it. He's protecting that football.
He had 2 arms on, hands on.
Yep, he's doing his best he
got a
can.
good stiff arm there.
He's one of our leaders. He's in the weight room, in the locker room. We're so happy to see a kid like that get a big play like that. But that was the story of the game. Our defense bent. They broke. They kept hitting them. They kept forcing turnovers. They blocked the special teams. Our offense struggled at times, did enough to, give us the edge there, and was a terrific outcome for us.
Well, I appreciate you giving us the insight on this. We do this every single time that we have an opportunity to show clips. We talk way too much, and it wasn't me this time. It was you that talked way too much at the first. But we greatly appreciate you. We'll be talking about it on Monday. Tonight, 7 o'clock, kickoff against Stewarts Creek to go for number 21. And just for the record, Tate did say running clock at halftime. So we'll see how that goes on Monday. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Coach's Preview Show.
Rain Again by Gail Bunton Haddock. It's green again now that the rain has come back. I've been out in it. My feet are wet and getting cold, but no matter. The land was parched, the leaves brittle dry with fire and ever-present threat. With the rain has come a hush. It has settled on the far hills and across the fields. We were ready for the relief of this rain. Sometimes slow and soft, sometimes hard and slanting on a rush of wind, and in a quietness that heals the brutality of a too long drought.